I didn't go towards the main staircase when I left my room, though I knew well enough I was being rather devious. Instead, I turned towards the back of the house, where the staff came and went, a place I had been warned as a child wasn't for me. But it was my house now, was it not? And if I were found there, I could say I had lost my way. It wouldn't be entirely untrue, as I'd never been there before. I realised quickly there was nothing required of me at Blackmere. The house moved on its own, each person with a place and purpose, and I had neither. I still rose before the sun, but I had no work waiting for me, and I found I didn't know what to do with myself when the day didn't ask something of me. So I went where I hadn't been meant to go and hoped I might find something of interest to occupy my time. The passage narrowed as I moved further from the family hall, less formal and less watched. I came upon a small room set apart from the rest, bright in a way the house was not, its walls clean and pale, the windows open to the morning light falling across the table, and the narrow counter set along the wall. I went to the window and let the light fall over my face, closing my eyes to it as I stood there. I thought of Hearthwick, and when Christian would go walking with me in the evenings, when nothing had yet been asked of us. But he was so busy with the business of running Blackmere that he had no time for me, and I wouldn't ask it of him. I was so lost in the quiet all around me, I didn't hear the door open, not until something struck against the floor with a sharp, sudden sound that broke through everything at once. I dropped where I stood. The breath left me so suddenly I couldn't understand it, my body trembling as though it no longer answered to me, and my sight dimming until the room fell away. A voice came to me then, distant in a way that made it difficult to place. "My apologies, my lady. It appears I am a bit clumsy this morning." My heart rose so hard against my throat I couldn't have called out for help at all, though. Then suddenly he was beside me, his handkerchief blotting my face, as Mr. Langsley said, "Are you all right, Miss Rowen?" "I am sorry," I said, though I didn't know what I was apologising for, the words coming between breaths I couldn't seem to slow. "I am so sorry." "No matter," he said. "Here, let us have you up, shall we?" His hand came to my arm, and he lifted me from the floor, guiding me to the chair set at the table. "There we are. Only sit a moment." He remained before me, long enough to be certain I'd stay upright before he moved away again, the sound of water being poured reaching me through the noise of my own heart in my ears. Then he returned, placing the glass into my hands and closing my fingers about it. "Slowly," he said. "Just so." Drawing the chair beside mine closer, he sat down and wiped my forehead again. "It will pass. Do not hurry it." I don't know how long it took for me to come back to my senses, only that the rest of the room began to return until I could see him again. "Your name is Nigel," I said. "We used to play together when we were little, and you had a great book of birds." He gave a short, soft breath of a laugh, his eyes turning away a moment as though the memory caught him off guard. "I still have it, as a matter of fact." I drew in a steadier breath at last, my hands closing once about the glass, as though to test if they were my own again. "You loved the cardinals best. They paired for life, you told me, and I thought it was so very beautiful." His hand came again with the handkerchief against my forehead before he took it away and nodded towards the glass in my hands. "You should drink more." I did as he bade me, taking only a little before lowering it again. When I was over there, a pair of them used to visit my window. I would bake for them, little things with seeds and fruit, and they would come and sit with me a while. They were all the happiness I had. I found myself looking past him, though I only saw the shop as it had been, the window open as I watched for them. And then one day, only the red one returned. When our eyes met, I saw the understanding in him, the small shift of his head, and the breath he let out enough to tell me he felt the pain of it too. "He called for her all day and night," I said, And it went on that way for so long. The memory came back to me as it had been, the night of our first kiss, and the way we held on to one another. I told Christian, before I left for the colonies, that I would be home in time to meet him on the church steps at Christmas. The thought slipped out of me before I could stop it. Do you think he was waiting there for me like that poor bird? He closed his eyes at that, and a tear slipped from one before he turned his head and brushed it away. I do not know, but I think it best that you do not dwell on these things any more. I knew well enough it would be improper of him not to carry such news to Christian, though I couldn't bear the thought of troubling him with something so small and silly. I wish you would not tell Christian you found me this way. Mr. Langsley's duty lay with the house, and, by default, with Christian now, and anything amiss with me would be his to confess, whatever I desired. And I found I was glad of it too, how I was no longer left to manage on my own, and there was someone like him whose place it was to help me through these things. He would be quite cross with us both if I did not. The worst of it passed, leaving me cold where the sweat dried against my skin, and with it came the sense of how I must have appeared, and how little cause there'd been for it. I do not want to worry him, I said. He has so much to oversee already. He put his handkerchief back into his pocket, a smile passing over him as he did. You are now, and have always been Mr. Ashcombe's favourite responsibility, my lady. You are no burden to him. Pushing his chair in as he rose, he offered me his arm to help me stand. Come, let us have you back to your rooms. I took it, and he led me from the room more quietly than we had entered it, not a soul in the house wiser for it.